Good morning, Lakeview. Here are your announcements for this week.
We are here because we want all of the families at Lakeview to come out to VBS this summer. Will and I had the chance to take part in VBS last year, and I had never gone to a VBS with Will. I kind of thought that they were someplace that you dropped off your kid for some free babysitting in the summer. And I heard that families were encouraged to come. And so one of the things that I noticed right off the bat was that the whole week was based right on scripture. So they were learning verses, but the cool part was we were learning the verses along with them. And then the second thing was that we all share a meal together beforehand. So we had the chance to fellowship, to get to know other families. The kids could make friends. Will enjoyed the desserts. We got to eat together, and that was different as well. It was just a really nice way to start. What was your favorite part? Do you remember?
I like Shalom.
Shalom. Yeah, that's our favorite song.
Shalom, shalom, till we meet again,
Shalom, shalom. The cool part about going together as a family is all the lessons that they learnt and the things that they talked about, we actually were a part of together. So I got to take part in worship with Will and see the kids dance around and joy on their faces and actually worship with him. And then at the end of the week, we got a CD with all the songs that we still sing. So I really encourage you to book that time off as a family. Don't go for holidays that week. Stay here. Go to VBS together. Should everybody come this year?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Okay.
Shalom. That's not part of it. I'm just silly.
Lakeview Church Summer Family Adventures starts Sunday, July 26th to Thursday, July 30th from 6:15 to 8:30 p.m. The cost is $25 per family if you register before June 30th. For more information, visit lakeviewchurch.com or the Facebook page.
Beginning Sunday, June 28th, we move to one Sunday service time starting at 10 a.m. Join us for our summer teaching series, This Is My Story, This Is My Song, a study in the book of Psalms. In your info folder this morning, you received a yellow Pick One card that we introduced to you last Sunday. Our hope is that you can check off one of the 3 boxes on the back of the card so that we can help you find your best fit here at Lakeview. So fill one out if you haven't already and drop the completed card off at the info booth. So those are just a few of our announcements for this week. For more information, check out our info folder or visit us at lakeviewchurch.com.
Hi, everyone. Hey, glad you're here. Wasn't the youth band great earlier on this morning? Can we thank them? Well done to them as well. You know, it's been said that you and I, we're nothing more than the sum of our stories. And that might be true. But if you're anything like me, then you are made up of a mixed bag of stories. Some good, some not so good. And in the middle of all those stories, there are pieces of us, pieces of you and me that are scattered everywhere. Like that time I was 13 and my grandfather gave me $50. And I was super excited because $50 for a 13-year-old was lots of money. And I knew exactly what I was going to do with it. I was going to buy a watch, but not just any watch. Look at that throw. That was perfect. Excellent catch right there. Yeah, well done. I wanted a swatch. Do you remember swatches? Yeah? So like one band was red, one band was blue, and the face of the watch, the numbers were out of order. And I was super excited because this was the coolest watch ever. So my grandfather gave me the $50. I went out and I bought the watch, but before I had a chance to show it to him, he passed away unexpectedly. Or there was this other time where I actually sort of kind of missed almost the birth of my son. And that really wasn't my fault because I was away and he came early and my cell phone had died. but I made it. And then there was the time that I almost kind of sort of missed the birth of my daughter. But I was totally there. And apparently, I've been told that I dropped my wife off at the wrong door. It was 4 in the morning. How many right or wrong doors could there be in the hospital? And by the time that she got in, and by the time that I went to go register us, they were calling my name over the intercom. Mr. Manifold, quickly come up to the 4th floor. And as soon as I got into the room, pop, her head came out. Right there, last second. Or there was this time that I worked for this guy, and it was a summer job, and it was home renos, and man, that guy was not nice to me at all. He's the kind of guy where I think he thought I may have been a slave, and I would do anything that he wanted to do. I was 18 or 19, and I needed to make some money to go to school, but he just wasn't a nice guy. Like, there were times that he would have me show up at the job site, and, you know, showing up at a job site in Toronto isn't just like taking the bike somewhere. It's like 2 or 3 buses, there might be a subway, and sometimes I would wait at the job site 2, 3, once I waited for 4 hours. 4 hours for the guy to show up, and I called him from a payphone because there was no cell phones way back in the day. I'm talking mid-90s, like dinosaur ages. Oh, sorry, I slept in, I'll be there by lunch. Okay. And then he wouldn't pay me for the extra time. And there was this one time we were installing a bathtub, and this is after we had done a 13-hour shift. Did I tell you that, like, safety wasn't a first priority in this job? So we had done a 13-hour day the day before, and now we were doing a 13-hour day, and we were installing this bathtub. Now, here's the deal. It's been 13 hours. I'm super tired. The tub is in, and the guy asks me to pass him a torpedo level. You know what a torpedo level is? It's a level that looks like a torpedo. So I was passing it to him, and as he was grabbing it, somewhere in the middle, it just didn't connect. And the level fell, and it took a quarter-sized chip off the bathtub. Right on the front. We just had it installed and caulked and everything. The bathtub, yeah, not so funny. The bathtub was $400. And guess whose paycheck that came out of? Do you know how long I had to work for $400 that summer? Or there's this time, actually I was 17 years old, and I came to faith, and it was a Saturday. And actually it was a really moving experience for me. It was fantastic, and it was probably one of the biggest milestones in all my life. And then on the Monday, we went on a family trip to Cuba, which was great. The trouble was, unbeknownst to my mom, she had actually booked a hotel that was right on one of those, I'm going to say this nicely, one of those European-style beaches. Do you know what I'm talking about? Did I mention I was 17 years old? That was a tough week, folks. And then just this week, I got an email, and it's an email from a friend, or at least I think he's a friend. I mean, we were really good friends for a long, long, long time, and then about a year ago, we had a bit of a falling out, and we haven't talked since then, and then this week, he sends me an email. So I just sit there with it a little bit, and I don't know what to do. Do I be nice? Do I not be nice? Do I give it some space? Do I answer right away? What do I do? And then I respond to the email, and I'm thinking about it afterwards. Like, should I be really sort of holding my guard on this? Should I be pushing back, or should I be nice? Where's this going to go? Do I want to be friends with this guy moving forward? I don't know. I'm still not sure. So I wrote him back, and then he wrote me back. So that means I got to write him back this week again. So we stop and think about who we are and where we've come from. Our stories capture the full range of emotions. We can be excited, we can be sad, we can be angry, we can be full of pride, we can be thankful, we can be unsure, we can be taken advantage of, we can feel guilty, and all those things sort of reside in us. They're contained. And even though we house those feelings, there are pieces of us that are scattered everywhere. And our first inclination is to want to go out and capture all those pieces again. Go out there, find them, grab them, bring them back, stuff them back into a place where we can look after them and take care of them and protect them, maybe fix them. But for those of us who identify ourselves as disciples of Jesus, maybe life is a little less about just chasing all those things, trying to grab all that stuff, trying to contain it all, trying to fix it all, trying to keep it safe, trying to keep ourselves safe. Perhaps the call, the challenge for us as disciples of Jesus is to stay put, is to stay rooted exactly where we are, no matter where our pieces are scattered, no matter what our emotions are doing to the insides of us, no matter what others do to us, and no matter what comes our way. Psalm 1 says this to you and me this morning. That blessed is the one who does not walk in the step of the wicked, or stand in the way of sinners, or take or sit in the company of mockers, but whose delight is in the law of the Lord, and who meditates on his law day and night. That person is like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in season, and whose leaf does not wither, and whatever they do prospers. But not so the wicked. They are like chaff that the wind blows away. Therefore, the wicked will not stand in judgment, nor sinners in the assembly of the righteous. For the Lord watches over the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked leads to destruction. Here, the psalmist is making a very clear distinction. And he's saying, what kind of person are you? Are you the kind of person that just gets tossed around? Are you the kind of person that allows the wind to take you where it will? Are you the kind of person that allows yourself to be flung all over the place and just sort of out there grabbing on whatever direction, whatever new thing is happening? Are you the type of person, he's saying, that is trying to chase down all those pieces from when you were 13 or 17 or last week or what he said or what she said? Are you the type of person that is ruled by your emotions? Is your soul unstable, is what he's getting at? Or are you like a tree that is firmly planted, grounded, and rooted so deep that it's still standing in the same place no matter how bad the wind was and no matter how hard the storm flung all your pieces everywhere? Are you like chaff, he's saying? Are you rootless? Are you weightless? Are you cut off from any source? Because if you're like chaff, he's saying, that you are everywhere except for where you are supposed to be. And what that ultimately communicates is that you're running life under your own strength and power. You only depend on yourself. You're autonomous. You are reactive. You're destroying yourself. And maybe he's suggesting that you're not happy. Not happy. Where did he say that? Well, I'll tell you, relax. We'll get to that part. Not happy. Is the psalmist naive? Does the psalmist not get that life just isn't fair? That things don't always work out the way they're supposed to work out? Does the person who wrote this really have a good grip on the world? Does that person not realize that it seems like the wicked get away with murder and the righteous, man, we still suffer? Does he get that? Does he feel it? Earlier in the passage, he actually uses the word, well, those who are righteous, they will prosper. And the root of that word prosper is this feeling, this idea of happiness, this idea of joy. So in a sense, he's suggesting this, that it is possible for the righteous to have happiness and joy even in the midst of suffering. How? Because they're firmly planted. They've got a place to stand. And even if the wind beats them down, even if the storm scatters their pieces everywhere, they stand unmoved in the one who is the same yesterday, today, and forever, the writer of Hebrews says. Can you forward my slide up there? Oh, no. Back. So the psalmist says then that this one that we are so rooted firmly in is actually the one that looks after us. He watches over us, he says in his last line here. But this watching isn't like God is up there in the clouds far away saying, that's kind of cool. Look at those kids. Good job, guys. See you later. No, this watching carries with this idea of actually knowing us, being informed of our lives, caring about who we are and where we're going and what's happening. And beyond that, this watching is a watching that actually identifies with us. So then happiness isn't having all our pieces, all our balls back into the bucket where we can watch over them and cover them and keep them safe. And joy isn't, well, I'm going to live a life where there's no storms, where everything is perfect and everything goes exactly the way I want it to go. It's not what he's saying here. For the Christian, joy and happiness is not dependent, is not contingent on the circumstances we find ourselves in or the storm that we might find ourselves in. Because again, our joy and our happiness are firmly rooted in who God is and what he has done, what he is doing, and what he has promised to do. But you and I might say, well, that sounds good in theory, and that's a sort of a kind of a feel-good kind of a psalm. But right now, I'm in the middle of a storm. How do I have happiness and joy? How do I cope? How do I truly be a good disciple of Jesus when the last thing I want to do is be a good disciple of Jesus? Consider this. With the Psalms as a book, were all collected and put together during the time where Israel was in Babylonian exile. Now, Babylon was a flat and featureless land with only one river running through it. Where have I heard that before? A place that is flat and featureless with one river running through the downtown. I can't quite place it, but you might get the idea. This is Babylon. So what they did to make sure the land was prosperous is that they actually cut canals, irrigation canals all over the land. In essence, they were taking this wasteland and turning it from wasteland into actual usable soil. So when the psalmist refers to a tree that is planted by the streams of water, what he's talking about, a tree that has been transplanted alongside irrigation canals. Do you begin to see the picture here? Israel is in the middle of a storm, and there were pieces of them scattered everywhere, literally. People, belongings, the temple, you name it, just blown out everywhere. And in that moment, they're thinking to themselves, how am I going to get out of this? I don't want to be here. This is the worst place we could possibly be in. How did we find ourselves in this situation? So they're contemplating those things. Maybe some of them were even stressing about, if I was just outside of the storm and the conditions were just right, then we could do more spiritual things. Or maybe, as the psalmist suggests, instead of worrying about those things, instead of focusing on that, instead of being bogged down by our emotions, instead of trying to grab all the pieces and put them back together here, we say, well, no, I will be like a tree that has been transplanted right beside an irrigation canal. It's going from wasteland to actual soil that is useful. Where I can be a tree that grows up, strong, produce leaves and shade and fruit. Is it the ideal? No, of course not. Could things be way better? Yeah, they could be. So for us this morning, we're faced with this same truth. Are things ideal in your life? Maybe, maybe not. Could things be better theoretically? I guess so, probably. But even in that mindset, even in the middle of the storm, even with all the pieces scattered everywhere, the psalmist asks us this morning in the middle of that, are you like chaff Are you just blown around everywhere? Are you trying to chase all that stuff down? Are you truly not happy and full of joy? Or are you like that tree that is planted deep, roots run deep beside the irrigation canal in a place you don't want to be, in a place that was previously wasteland? Have you settled and said, okay, I am where I'm supposed to be? And not that everything is perfect, not that everything is just right and ideal, but I'm going to be here. Why? Because I am rooted in something, in someone that is far greater than me, the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning and the end, the Maker. And that is bigger and stronger than anything else. So this summer, as a community, we're actually going to walk through the book of Psalms, not in order. We're going to be all over the map. But each psalm, in its own way, will explore the range of human emotions and feelings and experiences. And in its own way, each psalm is going to bring us back to this first psalm, this sort of gateway psalm that says, in the middle of wherever you find yourself, in the middle of whatever storm, in the middle of whatever is going on inside of you, no matter where all your pieces are scattered, are you like chaff? Or are you like a tree that has been transplanted beside irrigation canals in a place that was once desolate, but now a place that actually something can happen?